The Tiny and Nate Show.
Tiny and Tiny and Nate do Phoenix.
Tiny,
Tiny,
I mean, Tiny Nate could do anything. It's
Tiny.
like
That's it.
Tiny Nate could do anything.
Exactly. Tiny and Nate do creative finance. Tiny and Nate,
Ooh, ooh, that's
Tiny
nice.
and Tiny and Nate
Take on the
flipping.
metaverse.
Take off, flipping the
Yes.
metaverse.
Oh my gosh, I saw a post of somebody.
Right? They're
It was,
spending millions of dollars, right?
it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, it
Somebody
is.
from the mastermind that we went to. It was like a thing on his Instagram. Tyrone, actually.
Yeah.
Just going, what the?
So the challenge put before us by Pace Morby was um, put out content, and not just put out content, but um, like the classic Gary V thing is documenting your process and your growth, right? I think that was in there. But do you remember any of the other challenges he gave in terms of, creating content, creating the podcast, the why behind it, why we were excited to do it?
Take,
Just what are your
yeah, I
thoughts?
think like just taking massive action and not worrying about making it perfect.
Right.
Like, be
Like
a
this.
content creator, not consumer.
Dude.
That was so pivotal to me. I was like, because that's been one of the main things. I'm like, oh man, I don't want to just be on there all the time, but I can share what I'm doing. I can share what I'm learning. Like you
Yep.
have a heart to teach,
Mm,
and I'm really enjoying that. Like learning at a fast pace and then teaching it to somebody
right.
makes you learn it even faster.
That's so
So
true. That's so true.
yeah,
Like at the mastermind, my feedback for them, I loved it. 98% of it was life-changing and transformative. But the one part about uh, lean holding versus landlording, lean lording, dude,
yeah,
I just wanted them to stop and let somebody else in the group like try and teach it from their perspective because I was struggling so hard to basically understand the basic concepts. Like
yeah,
it took everything in me to not jump up and go, is this right? Am I getting it? And you're right. When you teach something, you
yeah.
learn it faster. If you're required to teach something, you learn it faster. So that's one of the things I think we'll get from this podcast. Because if we choose a bunch of topics, I do think we're going to end up interviewing people. I do think we're going to end up just sharing stuff we've already learned. But I also think that there's going to be topics that come up that we want to do a podcast about that we don't
Mm-hmm.
know if about don't know enough about already, and so that's going to drive us to go learn it or find somebody who does and teach it or at least share through the podcast.
If we ask the same six questions, no matter what the subject matter is, then no one's going to know what we don't know.
Steve Trang
Wait,
style.
that's been done.
Steve
Hmm.
Trang. I know. Do you have any fear that our podcast won't be original enough?
I don't think there's a single original podcast. I just don't. Like I'm not. That's being original is so not a worry of mine. I would rate that on a scale of 1 to 10, like -57. Just doesn't matter because there isn't anything that's original, and anyone who's where I want to be is just recycling good ideas. I think I think there's it's such a massive ocean. Like
Yeah.
I did it when we were taking off from Phoenix. Like just look out the window,
Yeah.
and well, that's not true. It was like 5 in the morning, so everything was
Yeah.
dark. But
Yeah.
there's so many people. This
Right.
content can reach like so many humans that
Yeah. Yeah.
I just don't think that's a concern.
Two things: size of Phoenix, and second, I think there will be originality by not trying to be original. So number one, go flying in and out of Phoenix was really encouraging to me because we both live in smaller counties up in the Pacific Northwest, and
Yeah,
you forget how many freaking people there actually are on this planet until you fly into
yeah,
a county that has 4.5 million, or basically 20 times the size of your own county. Great,
it's massive.
great. It is a big world, so agreeing with you there. Second thing is something you told me earlier today really resonated with me, which is like when you are most yourself, whatever that looks or feels like. For me, it's sitting there playing accordion or piano or dinking around, or like you said, sharing something. I sat down with a realtor today in a property that I'm putting an offer on, and
Yep.
sharing stuff we learned from the mastermind, sharing stuff we've learned along the way through our flip. And It's exhilarating. And I think when you're flowing in that state of exhilaration, somebody's going to find that entertaining, if not just you and I. So Tiny and Nate do talking about stuff that they care about. I think that's going to be
Yep.
enough.
Yep. I think the Tiny and Nate show, and then the title of each podcast is Tiny and Nate do, and then whatever the subject is.
Okay. Do you think so? Are you pretty sold on the Tiny and Nate show?
No, not necessarily. But that's how you could get away with branding us,
Yeah.
which is important.
Yeah.
And it's not just a podcast. People don't just listen to us.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be visually recorded. Like this is going to be YouTube content, right?
Yeah. Oh, for sure. For sure.
So,
yeah, we'll recycle it everywhere.
Yeah, I think so. And I'm like 3 years too young to remember this. I wasn't quite watching this content, but you're like, so and so do America. What is it?
Oh,
Something in Dave, or you know what I'm talking about?
well, what you're triggering for me is Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. I think that's what it is. Yeah, but it's kind of a recycling of that. So, but that has positive connotations, at least to people kind of in our spheres of like, that's funny. It was fun.
Yeah.
It wasn't serious. You know what? If it triggers anything in someone's brain, I think it's going to be lighthearted and funny.
Yeah.
Not, which is kind of what I want to have. I don't want to have some professorship like, here's how to do creative finance. I don't want that. I want it to be accessible and fun. Like, how do you not just bore the tears off of people or out of people?
Please, yes.
When they're watching your content, listening to us, like, I want people to listen to this podcast while they're mowing the lawn or drinking a beer with friends or on their way to work, so that they're able to actually hear it and apply it to their life. I don't expect this to be something that someone, just binge consumes like straight. I want to be part of people's progress and journey, a lot like Aaron.
Yeah.
I think that would be awesome. Like, oh, I'm going to go to Tiny Nate and learn about house flipping, or I think they had a podcast on whatever.
Yeah. I have a fear, not a fear. I am totally at peace actually now. Thanks to the mastermind with Pace. Simply documenting what we've learned the day before and like talking to ourselves. I think you muted yourself, by the way. There you go.
I did.
Okay. Talking to myself a year ago. Like that was such a helpful piece of advice. So if somebody else is listening to this and thinking about doing a podcast or creating content, like, how do you not sound like a jerk who's trying to bring all the knowledge? I'm the king. I've got all the answers for you. Well,
that's freeing too, because we don't have to have all the answers. Well, we don't have most of the answers.
We don't have most of the answers.
Yeah.
But we can share what we've learned, and maybe there's somebody 2 steps behind us that gets something from it. And that's the recycle idea again. Like the people that we're following are recycling ancient ideas, right?
Yeah.
Forgiveness and gratitude. That was not a new idea from Jamil Damji during the mastermind, right?
No, that's not original content.
But did it feel powerful and necessary in the moment?
It actually, I don't know if you actually did what he said and put a name in there for somebody, but I did, and it changed how I felt about that person. And I've been holding on to something for a long time, and that exercise helped me look at that relationship completely differently. They must be miserable, not the person's such a jerk. So that was huge for me.
Yeah. And basically, if you're listening in, the idea was basically sort of a guided meditation, just gratitude and forgiveness. What are you hanging on to that's causing bitterness or holding down your attitude? And it was really meaningful for me as well. And I don't really have anybody to be massively bitter about. Nobody's abused me or stolen from me, and or if they have, I've already forgotten. But no, my point is for me, it was letting go of emotions I didn't even know towards my dad. I mean, I had a great dad, but you hold on to things. So and it doesn't hurt him, it just hurts me. So appreciated that from Jamil.
Yeah.
What do you think as we go and we do our first 10 episodes? Let's brainstorm some ideas that we would like to do within our first 10 episodes. And if we come up with 20 ideas, great. But what are some ideas in your head? Either good questions to ask or topics or people that we want to have on the podcast, those kinds of things.
Well, I want the Sub 2 crew.
Yeah.
So Pace, Cody, Matt, because they're each going to have they all have different personalities. I'd love to talk to Matt about culture.
Yeah.
I'd love to talk about to Cody, kind of about the dynamic and just the fast growth. And then there's infinite things you can talk to Pace about. We're going to have to be on our game with that. Jamil, that's going to be a huge one. Then the mastermind students.
Yep.
We're going to have to just be selective because there's so many people. And I think I would love to get out of the gate faster and be making great content like pretty regularly. I think we can.
Yeah.
So that we kind of become a leader within a group of leaders.
Yeah.
Did you see that? That was hilarious. Or they did that really well or whatever.
Be inspirational. So you're not satisfied being 7 feet tall. You also need to lead leaders.
Tiny don't play around. I mean, go big or go home. I happen to be big and at home. So
y'all are about to be dunked on, Sub 2.
Dude. Wow. No. They call me the SWAT team for a reason.
You might have to replace that globe to your back right corner with a basketball. Yeah.
I could spin it. Here we go. Some animation overlay is going to be awesome.
I want to do deal breakdown episodes because it would be so easy where we just take deals we've done, wholesale, flip, creative purchases.
Yeah.
And again, everybody listening in, we are in our first year of doing serious, meaning full-time, real estate investing. And it's been a blast. It's been certainly a roller coaster, but it's been amazing all that we've learned this last year. When COVID hit, we had a software company and we were just like, okay, what are we going to do? It was a time to really check in with each other and go, what's the long-term game plan? I just turned 40, which they say in the book, Think and Grow Rich. I think it's that one, that age 40 is a pretty big trigger point for a lot of males. A lot of dudes finally get their head on straight at 40 or finally become functional enough as leaders or people or business operators to have learned most of the majority of the painful lessons to finally be effective in life. So I don't think that's necessary.
You had enough pain. Now you can produce.
Yeah, that's it. And so I think just documenting and talking through our deals, break down the numbers, break down, obstacles we had to overcome in the process, and to do it in a fast-paced way. Like there's nothing I hate more than slow content or content that takes a long time to get into the meat and potatoes. Like I watch a fair amount of YouTube, and my finger is constantly ready to go, bump, 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 40 seconds, Next. 80 seconds in to get into the meat and potatoes. So one of my preferences would be that once we get our content calendar together, that when the podcast starts, that we don't take 90 seconds to get into the meat and potatoes.
Oh yeah, I think like probably everybody who's watching this, if anyone ever watches this, has seen there's like a teaser for 60 seconds, and it's from like 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 10 minutes into the podcast.
Yes,
where you go, oh, that's what they're going to talk about, and then there's some cool cut to intro video and blah blah blah, and then they start.
Right, and I'm all good with that, and having our editor do that, but. For the live stream stuff, I think one of the things I love that Pace does is he dives into the deep end basically immediately.
That's true. If we're doing it live and there's no editing, we can just do that.
Yeah, or at least be prepared with the headline. Like, this is what you're going to get from this. You know what I mean? Like, good writers of articles that they can basically give you the news in a headline, and then you can decide whether you want to read the rest.
I got it.
Go.
One of us says, up next on the Tiny and Nate Show, and then we point to the other person, and then the other person says what the headline is,
Okay.
and then we kick it off.
Okay.
And there's cool music going the whole time.
Okay. Let's see how good of
Are you going to improvise?
Well, yeah, and beatbox.
Yes.
And play accordion.
What's the topic? We need a pretend title.
Okay. Let's not run down that rabbit hole still. We've just done two things. We've brainstormed two things we want to do topic on. So deal breakdowns, having on the sub 2 crew. I think inside of having on the sub 2 crew or expanding on that is inviting on guests, people that are interesting to us, people that have helped us, people that are doing great work and building great teams. Yep. And either and I think for a time that we should keep it kind of focused on real estate investing, because I mean that's our world and that's where we want to learn. But I'm also totally not opposed to learning from other types of entrepreneurs. But I'm most interested in interviewing real estate pros and investors at this point.
Yeah, I would say so. I would love to get some folks on from our communities. Mm-hmm. So people who've done flips in the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah.
Like an extensive amount of them.
Yeah.
Some experience. Like, hey, if you were considering doing this, what do you wish you would have known?
Yeah.
Like, give me your top 5. I wish somebody would have told me this.
Right.
In addition to all the stuff you can get, now just listening to a number of things or YouTubing something.
Sure.
What's the stuff people aren't telling you? Or, what did you wish someone told you about finances?
Yeah.
Did you even know creative finance was a thing? Like, all that. I just got my license recently, and I'm in a thread with all the people who are in the class with me.
Yeah.
And it's weird being the one person out of a group of 20 or 30 people who's just got licensed, and none of them know about creative finance. None of them know about investor stuff. Like, they've all been handed, one tool, and that's the only tool they're going to use for the next 20 years. It's like, oh, there's an entire world that you're not going to know exists.
Yeah.
So I told them, I said, hey, if anybody wants to know anything about creative finance, let me know. There's a whole universe that you're probably not going to be told about at your brokerage. No one responded. I don't even know what that is.
Why do you think they didn't respond?
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe they didn't save me in their phone and they have no idea who that was.
You hadn't branded yourself as Tiny yet.
I hadn't. No.
Oh,
is anybody on this going to have any clue why that's funny? Probably not. I hope not. I hope it confuses a lot of people. Like, man, that guy must be small.
What happens if you stand up right now?
Let's see. So exciting.
How tall are you actually?
6 foot. I'm going to say 10. 6'10".
6'10". Are you
it's okay? It's like slightly less than that.
Are you okay if I tell all my friends and like realtor partners that you're 7 foot?
You could. It would be false, but that's fine. I'll just wear like tall boots if I'm around you.
There you go. Maybe I'll just say he's practically 7 feet. Or like,
he's practically.
He feels 7 feet tall to me. No.
He's 7 feet I swear, you'll think he's 7 feet tall. I told some people in the airport that I was wearing stilts. They looked down. What? No, I'm not wearing stilts, you moron. Get out of my way.
Okay, so interviewing interesting people, deal breakdowns. I think it'd be freaking fun to do just some stuff that's mostly entertaining. I don't know what that would be yet.
You're gonna ask, like, if anyone ever watches a show or like listens to it and they comment on it, we could ask for ideas. We've got a ton of content ideas, but we also realize, and we're perfectly fine with just doing this for you and me. But
yeah, that's right. Like, so what occurs to me is like, total real estate fails or investing fails, like the worst things that happen. Like, everybody wants to show off, how many deals they've done, or like where they are in their progress, or if they're a guru, sell their class or whatever. But it would be I would find it entertaining to hear a bunch of rapid fire, just really crappy situations that people didn't even necessarily overcome. Like it's not a positive.
Just
It's not
failures.
yeah, it's not a positive episode. It doesn't end with like, and here's how we overcame the scenario. It's just all the worst of the worst.
Are you in for 29 minutes of downers?
Yeah.
Let's go. Here's 74 situations that didn't end well.
Yeah.
So if you still want to do real estate investing, tune in next week.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I think that'd be funny.
Gosh, things keep slipping out of my ears. There we go. I don't wear them often. I use these big, huge things all the time.
I know. Well, I mean, there's easily in the Pacific Northwest, we could also interview, people that have done 300 flips in their lifetime. You could get those
Yeah.
folks on
Yep.
and walk through, their journey. That'd be good.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I think
Probate
that would be
attorney.
fun. Yeah. I think, gosh, who's our main audience? Like, what do they want to know? What do they want to hear? I mean, are we talking to investors? Are we talking to people who are thinking about investing? All the above.
Yeah. It occurs to me, this is my snarky answer to that question. If we talk about the stuff that's interesting to us,
Mm-hmm.
the right audience will find it.
Mm.
Now, that's my like snarky Enneagram 8 answer. Kind of like FU answer, right? Like
We're awesome.
we're gonna
So
talk
if
about
they want to
what
listen,
yeah.
great. If they don't, screw them.
It's not necessarily the good advice answer,
Show's not for
but
them.
right. Well, I just mean if I know people build very large businesses off of looking up what topics are Google trending, right? Okay, this trend word, so I'm now going to do this video on this. And I get it. I think there will be a place for that. I think, but I also think that it's our show. So if we're going to
Yeah.
do it regularly, we
Yeah.
should figure out when that time is going to be. Is it going to be every Monday night? We're going to do this. It's going to be live. It's going to flow. That the discipline of doing it could get grinding, and so it's got to be fun. I think it's got to just be fun for both of us.
Definitely. I would say if it's not fun, like it's not going to be fun to watch or listen to.
Yep.
Like if you and me aren't having fun, then no one's going to have fun listening to it.
And I can't imagine that we would do a show that we wouldn't find. Well, that's not true. So my previous podcast was more of that, like, here's my 3 questions. But I think part of the problem was not, going into it without really relationships or a lot of interest in the people I was speaking with. Most of them were strangers, and that they were just in the industry that was interesting to me, like realtor, broker industry. And that wasn't really enough to produce a lot of exciting moments. And I think allowing those to blossom out of interesting people and really interesting topics, I think that'll be a lot more fun.
Yeah, it's going to be good. And I think we'll probably have to pair, like if we do some of the mastermind students, there's some people that are doing amazing things, but are super low key.
Yeah.
Like even Keel, I'm thinking of one guy in particular down in the Atlanta market.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm so excited right now. This is my happy face. That's him. So if we bring him on, because he knows a lot of cool stuff, we'll probably have to pair it with someone who's like a little more up,
Yeah.
Keeping in mind the personalities, since we're going to know a lot of these people, I think is fun, or is necessary to help keep it fun.
Yeah, totally. It's kind of like
interesting.
A Brent Daniels face with a super loud bell versus a Pace Morby face.
Yeah. Like my friend Tom, who will probably be on the podcast at some point, but I love him, but like his world could be on fire, or he could be on the beach, and
Okay.
the exact same temperament.
Okay.
It's just like super
Flatline.
even keel. Yeah,
Okay. Yeah,
it's
that's
good to have
good.
some of those people. I mean, in your life, it's nice.
Well, being the Sub 2 crew and the Mastermind group for sure could contribute ideas as well. And we'll be following a lot of their works as their work too. So maybe they end up doing something that we're like, oh, that's awesome, or oh, that guest was incredible. And
Mm-hmm.
so we can totally steal from them, steal ideas from those
Mm-hmm.
guys too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. Cool. So we're not worried about necessarily who our audience is. We'll let them find us. Our job is to have fun and be interesting and make great content. I feel good about that.
Yeah. And I didn't hear you say it, but just documenting too, like documenting the truth and trying to do it quickly in a fashion that is palatable. But yeah, I agree with
Yeah,
everything you said.
that's something I think is I don't know if responsibility is the right word, but I've seen deals be broken down, and like you can do this with statistics, but if you just show the sexy part of a deal and you go, oh my gosh, your return on investment was 84%. That's incredible. But you didn't mention the 7 months it took of follow up, the 8 times of back and forth, how the deal almost fell apart 3 times, how, all this stuff, the financing totally crapped out at the last minute, and
Yeah,
the county didn't record it in time.
right.
Like, if you leave all that out, it
Yeah,
leaves people with this wrong. It's just like it's like this Facebook version. It's like an ESPN highlight reel. Like, oh, real estate investing is magical. It can be magical. It also has people in it, so it's messy. Like,
yeah,
I want to give people a straight shot of what things are actually like. So that's important to me because I feel kind of hoodwinked or deceived when someone describes something, but they only tell you the good stuff. They don't leave
yeah.
out, or they leave out some of the actual like nitty gritty.
Yep.
Oh yeah, that happened. I don't want to talk about that.
So the first logo for this show, it's either going to say the Nate and Tiny, or it might say the Nate and Tiny Show. And if it
It's
ends up being
Tiny
the
and
Nate,
Nate, bro. Sorry, you gotta put Tiny first.
Well, it does, and it's not just because you're cooler than me. It's also
No,
because of that.
it's phonetic.
It's phonetic.
Like, yeah,
Tiny and Nate.
Nate and Tiny doesn't roll.
Tiny and
Tiny and
Nate.
Nate totally rolls.
That's right. But here's the thing. If you add the show after it, that's a lot more words. To
Uh-huh.
me, it has a ring of like the Muppet Show, which, I do love the Muppet Show. I grew up with the Muppet Show.
Yeah.
I have nothing against it. But and here's the other thing. A lot of the guys we like and follow and have influenced us to even get started with our
Uh-huh.
own show, they've got
Uh-huh.
like I don't know what it is, sort of a gangster hood thing, but I'm probably better suited, me
I,
personally,
yeah.
to have like a Muppet Show style intro, just like beep, 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 beep.
I'm more Big Bird than I am
I'm,
Tupac. Like,
yeah, more Big Bird
you
than
know,
Tupac. Call me Kermie Kanye.
I'm not gonna ever call you that ever. I don't mind going by Tiny though. I think it's pretty hilarious.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
definitely gonna have Biggie on.
Oh, Biggie Torres, the
Biggie
Biggie
Torres,
Torres,
the Biggie
that mother
Torres.
effer is legendary. Can't wait. Freaking can't wait. Yeah, that's the biggest thing to come out of Buffalo since freaking I don't even know what else has come out of Buffalo. It's actually
Biggie,
Cuba first, but actually Puerto
Biggie,
Rico. My bad. My bad.
Biggie Torres is approximately 3 feet tall.
And 7 inches. Don't forget that. He's almost 4. We can't
I
talk
wish,
about that.
yeah,
He
yeah.
gets.
Well,
He gets.
that's going to be amazing for people on YouTube to see Biggie next to Tiny.
We took a selfie.
You did?
We were It
Okay.
was awesome. He was stoked. So was I. And then like this bartender walked by and was like, "Hey, you good?" Talking to him,
Mm-hmm.
thinking I was picking on him.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You
And I
were.
was like, no. He's good. We're good. This big buff dude, he's like, you good? Talking to Biggie.
Yeah.
It's okay.
I picked him up and I threw him across the room, but we're all good.
I didn't throw him. I set him right back down. That's making me think of a story that also happened right about then that I can't tell.
No,
This is recorded.
that's right.
But if we ever have extra content,
bonus content,
in-person meetup content.
Yeah. There's some things you just don't want to be publicly associated with, do you, on the internet?
It's not my story, but it was funny. I won't retell it on this.
All right, I think that's been enough brainstorming for now, don't you?
I think so. Are we doing the? Is there a meeting later after this?
No.
Or no?
Mm-mm. Nope.
All
Not
right,
happening.
then.
Bump to next week.
All right then.
Awesome.
Well, it's been real.
It's
How are
been
we
good.
gonna? What's our Tiny and Nate outro? We never landed on a name? Is it Tiny and Nate? Just Tiny and Nate.
I would vote for just Tiny and Nate, but I'm willing to be if you can fully argue and convince me how it would go, how the Tiny and Nate show is better than Tiny and Nate. I think Tiny and Nate shows up better like on a podcast logo, when you've got 1 square centimeter of space.
Yeah. I will submit to that idea because you have a lot more experience about it than I do. And I mean, for branding, it's just less words. That makes sense.
Yeah.
But if this actually goes somewhere, it's going to be cool. If we publish this, this is going to be fun for someone who's watched like 150 episodes to go back and watch this and be like, oh my gosh, they were terrible at that.
They were so bad. They were so bad. Oh. I think that's the fun part of documenting.
Yeah. I mean, I've done that. Someone who's, I've been watching or listening over and over and over. And then I go back to like their first ones. I'm like, whoa, they were terrible. They really changed a lot of things.
Did you ever see original, and then we'll shut it down after this because we're at 43 minutes. Did you ever see original Joe Rogan podcast footage? Like how he did it, where he did it?
Mm-mm.
So bad.
Really?
He would say as much himself, but it starts out so rough.
Like some of the first Mike Rowe podcasts is what I'm talking about. Like, or, some of those things is that they've done so many.
Yeah.
It's like there's a big difference over time. Do I need to get one of those cool podcast mics?
I think so. No, I think we got it. This is kind of lame. I think it doesn't give you the full resonance of your deep baritone voice.
You gotta have that.
Oh yeah.
You gotta have it.
Right now you're all reedy.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. No, we're definitely going to get you hooked up with that. I've got a bunch of gear. I'll ship it out to you.
Yeah, like insure that crap because that camera's expensive.
Yeah, we'll get it. We'll get it on. Awesome.
All right.
Tiny?
Nate?
This is good.
All right. Until next time, my friend.
All right. Peace.